The wild hunt is a phenomenon that has been cited around Europe since at least the 8th century. While in a piece of untamed or unsettled land, a group of ghostly hunters can be seen and sometimes heard. Each local area has its own local stories to explain the wild hunt, which is influenced by a mixture of culture, local landscape, and the ideas that their neighbours have. Sometimes it isn't even a hunt, it's an army of the undead marching through the world of the living. Other times, it's a group of fairies or elves on their way to the elfin realm. Generally speaking, the hunt is associated with the supernatural and death, but each hunt is acknowledged for different reasons in various local folklores. The hunt's leader is just as varied as the hunt's explanation. Sometimes it's led by a legendary king, other times it's led by a biblical figure. This can be anybody from the angel Gabriel to the devil. In Germanic areas, it can be led by Woden or Odin in Scandinavia, but Woden has lost his sociable character. He has become a dark and dreadful power or a malevolent ghost. In Wales, there is Gwyn ap Nudd, an elfin figure who, with the hounds of Annwn, hearkens death for the family of any individual who hears his hunt. The barks of his hounds, paradoxically, get quieter as they approach, ready to pounce on their prey and force them to join Gwyn's wild hunt. In Britain, both Welsh and Anglo-Saxon aspects of the wild hunt quickly became fused. Walter Map shows this being done. He comes from Hereford, and in his account, ideas about Woden and Gwyn are written together as the legendary pre-Saxon king Herla. Walter tells us that people report many eerie soldiers on horseback. This wild hunt is named the followers of King Herla, or the Herlathing. These soldiers, he writes, wander endlessly in crazed, meaningless circles in dumb silence. Among them appeared many people who had recently died. King Herla was, supposedly, a particularly powerful post-Roman landowner. One day, he conversed with a small man who looked like a satyr from Greek mythology. The satyr revealed that both Herla and himself were kings of many people, which made them equal in stature. Therefore, they should exchange gifts at each other's weddings. Herla agrees, believing this to be a wise decision, strengthening his diplomatic ties. When his wedding happened, the satyr and his entourage provided food and drink for all guests. They provided it so perfectly that none of the satyr's food was left, and Herla's own food and drink had not been touched. Before leaving, the satyr emphasized their agreement. The satyr would be back, and Herla would attend his wedding. A year later, Herla and his retinue followed the satyr as they went through a cave at the bottom of a cliff, and they emerged in the satyr's realm. The satyr's wedding lasted for 3 days, and for his attendants, Herla and his followers were adorned with gifts, the best hunting gear that money could buy. Before they set off, the satyr gave Herla a bloodhound to carry on his saddle, advising him and his entourage not to dismount from the horses until the bloodhound jumped off. The Herlathing travelled back through the cave, and found a local farmer who Herla asked about his wife. The farmer responded, "Are you speaking British? The last British king of this land disappeared with a satyr 300 years ago. He left the land free for us Saxons to take." At the shock of this news, 2 of Herla's entourage immediately dismounted, and they turned into dust. Herla ordered the rest of his entourage to stay on their horses. They wearily obliged, and followed the king onward to their destination that the bloodhound had decided. To this day, the dog has not dismounted. The same King Herla wanders always, lost in infinite circles, holding onto his senseless course, without rest or hope of home. As Walter Map is from Hereford, his account of Herla fuses ideas about Woden and Gwyn ap Nudd. Herla and his retinue have become silent wanderers, like Woden's uncharacteristic behaviour, and like Gwyn, there is the elfin realm of the satyr and the dog on Herla's lap. This reflects the malleability of the wild hunt, but from the 8th century to today, they all warn us of the same threat. Something lurks beyond. Something in untamed and unsettled land. Something simultaneously eerie and fascinating that if unwise or uneducated humans meddle with, it will be nothing but their own downfall.